Good morning, it's February 26th, and this is To My Liberal Friends. Well, I don't think it's going to come as a surprise to anyone, but immigration and security of the southern border has become one of the top issues in this year's election. The massive waves of illegal immigrants crossing the borders have become a political problem for Joe Biden and many of his Democratic friends. It's put the Democratic Party in a bind and divided the progressives and the moderate Democrats. Most estimates put the number north of 7 million when you try to count the number of illegal crossings since Biden took office. Well, it's difficult to get an accurate number because they're in two groups. The first group crossed the border and turned themselves into the Border Patrol and immediately claim asylum. The second group crossed the border and make every attempt to avoid detection. These are referred to as getaways, and this is a number that's less accurate, but most experts say that number is higher than those published. Well, back in 2020, there was a stark difference between the two candidates, Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Biden made it clear that if elected, he would reverse Trump's immigration policies. And this was highlighted by his statement that, quote, there will not be another foot of wall constructed on my administration. Number one, I'm going to make sure we have border protection, but it's going to be based on making sure that we use high-tech capacity to deal with it, end quote. Well, that turned out to be kind of a misstatement. Beyond the wall, Biden's broader immigration plan represented a complete reversal of the Trump administration's policies over the past several years. Biden wanted to expand opportunities for legal immigration, including family and work-based visas, as well as access to humanitarian visa programs. Biden's immediate moves would largely entail rescinding various actions initiated under Trump that barred immigrants from certain countries and curtailed legal immigration, including new restrictions on asylum and rules making it harder for immigrants to obtain legal status. Biden also vowed to prioritize the reunification of any families still separated under the Trump administration's now defunct zero-tolerance policy, which led to the separation and detention of many migrant families and children in 2018. The result has been that most people believe the border is wide open, and migrants also believe that if they can get across the border, the policy of the Biden administration will allow them to stay. It may not be true, but they believe that. We have seen television accounts of migrants chanting Biden's name and some carrying banners thanking President Biden. That brings us back to 2024, and the same two candidates are on the ballot, but the tide of public opinion's changed. In 2020, the immigration issue was viewed as one that affected the border states, particularly Texas. Texas has the largest border with our southern neighbor, Mexico. Governor Greg Abbott made a decision that has altered the polls on this issue. He started shipping illegal immigrants to northern cities. Cities like New York, Chicago, Boston, Philadelphia, Denver, and others are run by Democratic mayors, and they've prided themselves in being sanctuary cities where they welcomed immigrants and provide them with safety from federal enforcement agencies. Suddenly, they were being overrun by the sheer numbers, and it was causing major financial problems. Resources that were being diverted from other programs to take care of immigrants. Eventually, the public became outraged and started demanding that something be done. The backlash has only grown in cities of these sanctuary status and are now saying to citizens they want that tag dropped. In New York City, the mayor is pleading for more federal funds. They're now budgeting $12 billion between now and the end of 2025 to provide for these illegal immigrants. And according to City Councilwoman Vicky Palladino, the city is now, quote, spending more taxpayer money to care for foreign nationals than we are in the annual budget of the NYPD, Fire Department, and the Department of Sanitation combined, end quote. Mayor Eric Adams has already announced that these expenditures will force deep, across-the-board cuts to every city agency to cover the costs. The situations are similar in many of these other cities. In Denver, they were spending $180 million, 10% of their budget, providing illegal immigrants housing, food, and other services. On top of that, the health care costs to these illegal immigrants has cost Denver Health $136 million and is threatening to topple the system. Crime among many of these immigrants is on the rise, particularly among Venezuelan gangs. Just this week in New York, they busted an organized group of migrants involved in stealing phones, bags, and wallets. And we all saw the video of the illegal migrants who attacked NYPD officers in Times Square. They were arrested and released and had to be rearrested because of the public outrage. One was seen laughing and giving authorities the finger after being released. In the sanctuary city of Chicago, more than 21,000 primarily Venezuelan migrants have arrived since the summer of 2022. The 21,000 consist of those who have crossed the border illegally and those whom the administration have let into the interior of the United States largely through their rampant and illegal abuse of parole authority. The Venezuelan migrants in Chicago have shattered the narrative pushed by the Open Borders lobby that there is no connection between border crisis and crime. And according to police data obtained by a Chicago television station, there were just 6 arrests of Venezuelan-born people in 2021 and 26 in 2022. Now, as of November 12th of 2023, Chicago PD had arrested 686 Venezuelans, representing an 11,000 increase over 2021. Finally, there's the murder of the Georgia nursing student Laken Riley by an illegal immigrant from Venezuela. The suspect crossed the border in El Paso, Texas in 2020 and was released per Biden policy via parole after claiming asylum. He should have been deported when he was arrested in New York, but they are a sanctuary city, so the death of Miss Riley is on the hands of these New York politicians. The panic is on among Democrats. Biden is now promising another executive order as he faces growing pressure with his own party. Candidates are now distancing themselves from that administration over the border. Black Democrats in Chicago are openly talking about leaving the party. Biden can only look to the polling on the immigration issue. Over 64% disapprove how he's handling it, and it's only getting worse. The murder of Laken Riley pushes the issue to the front page, and that's not good news for Joe Biden. It's been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening.